Hi, everyone. Jamie Vaughn here with Joseph Habedank, the Grammy-nominated and award-winning singer and songwriter. 6 number ones, just had his last number one recently. Joseph, how you doing?
I am doing great. Thank you so much for having me on. By the way, everybody, I'm not driving. I
Good.
am parked at a Goodwill. I'm on my way to the studio where I'm going to be with two other people. So I'm social distancing, and I am just in the car because it's safer than being outside. So I'm in the car and I'm not driving, even though I'm wearing my seatbelt. So I didn't want anybody to worry. So I
Okay.
just want to get that out of the way.
Good, 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 good. And you're with the seatbelt, you're double safe now. So,
That's exactly right. Just in case, at this point, if a meteor falls from the sky, I'll be safe. And at this point, with all
right.
this coronavirus, you never know.
That's right. That's right. So, how are you and Lindsay handling the stay-at-home orders of having to isolate?
Well, at first, I was a little stressed because at the end of the day, number one, I love to sing,
Hmm.
and number two, I have my own uh, business. Our ministry is our business, and so the way that we make our income is obviously from touring, just like everybody else that does this. And so I was scared, but I got to be honest. About a week into it, I did not realize how much I love being at my house.
Good.
And I'm just really grateful for this season to rest. And, it's like I told Lindsay, I was like, even God rested, after he created the world. So I think it's good for all of us to sometimes just be still and recognize and know that he truly is God and is going to take care of us. And all of our needs have been met, and so grateful for that and the providence of God. I'm learning so much about the providence of God. And I was actually thinking last night about um, every single thing in our life is really the providence of God. I mean, we wake up, that's provision. The fact that he gives us another breath. We get to sleep in a bed, that's provision. We get to be in it. We get to live in a house. That's provision. So God takes care. I mean, the providence of God is so evident
Mhm.
in our life, and so I'm really enjoying it. But what I am doing though is I'm actually using this time off to write my next record, which should be out next spring. And I'm actually recording another album, which is kind of a surprise. We're not announcing the theme just
Okay.
yet, but it's kind of a surprise. It will be out hopefully this summer. But we're currently in the studio doing that. And then when I'm not in the studio, I'm writing. I'm actually heading to the studio now to do a demo on a song that I wrote for my next album. And then I'll be writing again today with the two writers who wrote the song that I'm demoing. So it's,
Okay.
it's, it, I was looking at my schedule, and it's pretty crazy. I'm still quarantining. I'm doing a lot of Zoom co-writing. And when I'm in the studio, it's just two or three of us. So, but man, I tell you what, I'm really grateful for this time, and I wasn't like that at first, but
Hmm.
really, really loving the rest.
Hmm. So, I think you are one of the most amazing songwriters, especially of current times.
Oh,
And I do think in 10 to 20 years, you are going to be one of those pillars, and not just Southern gospel, but Christian music across the board that people are going to look at and want to emulate their careers after. I would love to know what's your favorite song that you've ever written.
wow. Well, thank you so much. I think you might be the only person I've ever heard say that to my face. So thank you very much. That means a lot to me. It's funny because I always try to. I think I come across really confident. So and I am very grateful for my gift and what God's done. But I'm also uh, those words of affirmation are always really special. So thank you so much for saying that. I would
Very.
have to say my favorite song I've written. There's a song that nobody's heard yet that I'm probably going to record on the next album called Judas, and it's pretty special to me. But from the ones that everybody has heard, there's a song called When the Lights Go Down
Mhm.
that's really special to me. It was on my first solo album called Welcome Home, and it's kind of a challenge to me as a man, as a human, to live with integrity and principles. And I'll be honest, I don't always succeed, but I want to be the kind of man that the Lord would look down and say that He's proud of. And a lot of people know my story. I think we're going to talk about that a little later. But there's certainly been a time in my life when I wasn't that guy. I really try to be the best I can be in every aspect of my life. And I hope that, more than when I'm not here anymore, I hope that one day that more than just saying I was a good singer or songwriter, that people will say he was a good guy. He was a good man. So
Yeah.
that's something that I work really hard towards, and I'm really trying to do better at. So yeah, that's When the Lights Go Down is pretty special.
And if you could have written any song that you wish you had have written, what would it be?
Probably When I Survey the Wondrous Cross. Sorrow and blood flow mingled down. I mean, that kind of stuff, just like, good night.
Right.
That lyric just really wrecks me. And yeah, that's pretty. That one's pretty easy for me. I love When I Survey the Wondrous Cross. I always have.
Great song.
I actually recorded it on my first hymns album called "Take Time to Be Holy."
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I love that one.
I want to know what it was like when you got that phone call that Reba McEntire was going to record one of your songs.
Well, it was really unexpected because I had written the song "Sing It Now" for me, for my Resurrection album. It was on the final list. And my co-writer had heard, Tony Wood, who's kind of my songwriting mentor, had heard that she was looking for gospel songs. I had no idea. I didn't know she was doing a gospel album. And he, without my permission, which obviously I didn't care, he said he's never done this before, but he thought "Sing It Now" would be a song that she might sing. Because the album was kind of her coming back to God, and the song "Sing It Now" is about growing up in church and the hymns, and how if I could sing those hymns when times are good, I can still sing them now when times are tough. So he called, or I actually just got an email from Tony's publisher where it said, "Reba McEntire hold Sing It Now." I thought, wow, that's cool. But a hold doesn't mean anything. It just means that she doesn't want us to pitch it to anybody else. So she held it, and then it was literally a week later, I got another email that said, "Cut, Reba McEntire."
Wow.
And then she named her album that.
Mm-hmm.
And then she came and sang at the Dove Awards, and they asked me to sing with her, and I was just like, wow. Yeah, it just something that still doesn't seem really real.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a few years now, and it's funny because everybody thinks, hey, would you get a song to Reba for me? And I'm like, I don't know Reba. I mean, I've sang with her. She's recorded my song, but we're not buddies, So, but it's pretty special. I think, something I could have never dreamed. When I was growing up, I just wanted to write for gospel music. I didn't know anything about. I mean, I knew Reba was obviously, but I never dreamed that big. And like the Grammys, I never dreamed I'd get nominated for a Grammy, much less two, because I didn't even know they had a Southern Gospel category. So it's kind of those things. Like when I was a kid, I couldn't dream a lot of this stuff that's happened. I think it's just the favor of the Lord, and for whatever reason, He's chosen to bless me, and I'm so grateful for that. And I think He knows my heart. He knows that I really want to be the best that I can be at everything that I can do, and try to do it with excellence. I know I'm not showing that today with my old hat and my hoodie on, but I really do try to do everything with excellence, and I try to be the best I can be for the Lord. And so I'm really grateful for all the blessings of God. It's pretty humbling. So I'm grateful for that.
You've been very open about an addiction and struggle that you had with pain medicine, and
Yeah.
kind of put almost an end to your career. And then through rehab and counseling and all of that, you were able to come back, and I think come back even better than ever, and realizing that you were at the very bottom, and that God pulled you out. How were you able to come out of that and be on the other side? And do you take for granted what happened there?
Boy, I tell you, I didn't think I would ever sing again when I went to rehab, and what's amazing is my rehab was about $25,000,
Wow.
and the Grammys Music Cares program actually paid for me to go to rehab. And it was a one-time offer. They paid for you to go one time, and if you didn't get it, they weren't going to pay again. So you had to make the most of it. And so when I went through rehab, I did 30 days inpatient, and then I did 5 weeks outpatient, and then I did 90 recovery meetings in 90 days. Got a sponsor, which I know a lot of people don't know what that is. Doesn't have anything to do with money. It's somebody you call, it holds you accountable. And I have another friend in the Christian music community. He's actually a Christian music Legend, who is my sponsor and I talk to almost every day. And still, I've not had the desire to use drugs in several years, since probably about 7 years ago. I mean, God totally took that desire away, but I still talk to him about what I'm going through and the hard stuff in life. And I think it's important. And the Bible even talks about how, how important counsel is. And I think that's kind of what my sponsor is to me. And for me to come out the other side, and I honestly, I'll be honest, and a lot of people don't know this, I didn't think the Southern Gospel community would welcome me back. And me and Lindsay talked about me doing a contemporary career, and I just didn't feel like it was me. And she didn't either. And then I tell you who really God really used, and that's Daywin, my record label, who reached out to me and said, we want to do an album on you. And I was blown away. I was only 7 months clean, and they signed me to a record deal. And for whatever reason, God has used my story. And I'll be honest, I think had I not gone through what I did, I don't know that I would be the artist that I am today. And so Lindsay always says, I don't regret a second of it. And I'm kind of there too. I think the worst thing that ever happened to me became the best thing that ever happened to me. And so now I'm able to share my story every night. And I'm not ashamed of my story. I'm proud of what God has done in my life. I'm grateful for what the miracle that he's done in my life. And I'm just so glad that it's such a big part of our ministry, and that people know it. People know I'm broken and flawed and a human just like them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I can watch a crowd be totally unmoved by my first 6 or 7 songs. But the moment that I open up and say, 7 years ago, I was a con artist, drug addict, liar, but Jesus did a miracle in my life, and the crowd just instantly is with me, because they're all broken.
Mm-hmm.
And if they've not struggled with some sort of addiction in their life, they know somebody who has, whether it's their grandson, granddaughter, a son, or a daughter, a friend. Everybody is touched by addiction. We were just talking about somebody in both of our lives who, before this interview, who is struggling with addiction. 2 people in our lives. And so everybody, I think, in the world is touched by this awful thing called addiction. And so it's pretty amazing what God has done and what he continues to do. And and by the way, the Southern Gospel community, I was way off. They welcomed me back with open arms, and I think support me more now than they even did when I was with the Perrys. And I thought it would be the opposite. I thought, man, it's going to be a tough road, because not only am I coming back from a drug addiction, but I am going to be a solo artist in a group-oriented industry.
Right.
And I think only God could do what he's done in my life and my career. So I'm really grateful for that.
Well, I'm thankful that you haven't wasted the pain that you went through all of that.
Wow.
You are open and honest with everybody that you come in contact with. But I think sometimes when artists stand on that stage, it can become about them. And watching you over the last few years, I've noticed that it's not about you. It's about pointing people to Christ. And I'm very grateful to see that in an artist, especially an A-list artist.
Well, thank you so much. And, it's like Mark Lowry always said to me. Mark Lowry is one of the people that called me when I was in treatment just to check on me. And he said, don't show me your trophies. Show me your scars.
Mm-hmm.
That's what people don't care that I was nominated for 2 Grammys. They don't care that I won a Dove Award or that I'm solo artist of the year, 3 times. They don't care. That what they want to know is, hey, are you going to share your testimony tonight?
Yeah. That's
what they want to know. You're going to sing The Beauty of the Blood. Yeah. That you're going to do Here He Comes. They don't care about the trophies but they want to know, they want to see your scars, because that makes you relatable. And so really grateful for my story. And again, I think it's the best thing that ever happened to me.
If you could give people a message of hope in these trying times that we're facing across the world, what would it be?
I think to take advantage of the rest. And I think I hit on it at the beginning of this interview, but even God rested on the seventh day. And I think when God tells you to stop and be still and rest, that's exactly what you should do. And we have to also know that He is, and then I'm paraphrasing this verse in Isaiah, or maybe it's I think it's Jeremiah, that says, "I know the plans I have towards you; they're not to harm you; they're to give you a future and a hope." Like He knows that His plans are good, and His ways are higher. And while we can't understand the coronavirus or COVID-19, we don't understand why America's shut down. We don't understand why the government won't let us go here, go there. We don't understand why we can't go to church. And granted, we understand the virus, but we don't understand the greater plan. But God does. And it's kind of like I always tell people about the election. Everybody gets so upset about, gets so up in arms about the election, and it really doesn't matter who the president of the United States is, because at the end of the day, Jesus is king. He will always be king. And at the end of this, we win. If we're Christians, we win. We're the winners. We're the victors. And so we are the champions. I think there's a song in there somewhere. But I mean, we really are. We're on the winning side. And I think it's important to remember, as chaotic and crazy as this world is right now, He still sits on the throne, not just a throne, but the throne. And He is still God. And so just rest in that and know that He's got us. We're safe.
Yeah. Joseph, thanks so much for taking time out of your day. I know that you're trying to get to the studio and record, and we can't wait to hear the new projects when they come out. So tell me you'll come back and see us when those come out. We'll talk about them again and let all of our fans know.
Anytime, I'd be honored. Thank you so much for having me. And I'm sorry I'm not in a awesome studio like Bill Gaither was. I'm just in my Jeep here, but thank you for letting me let this be off the cuff. And so I really appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye-bye.